The following presentation was made possible by the Alltech Media Group, a Southern California multimedia company providing exponential branding and marketing services to all their clients. The Alltech Media Group understands the value of the 3W strategy, providing their clients proven, trackable results. Let us make it easy for you to grow your business. Visit alltechmedia.com.
Our keynote speaker has over 30 years of experience working in the aviation industry. As a renowned aviation consultant, he has overseen billions of dollars in improvement funding for airports both large and small. He most recently served as president and CEO of the Rhode Island Airport Corporation, servicing Providence and the New England region. As an accredited airport executive, a professional engineer, and a private pilot, he is well versed in what is necessary to ensure the Ontario International Airport is able to meet this region's air service needs. We are pleased to introduce you to the new CEO of Ontario International Airport, Kelly Fredericks.
You know, I have to say, and you'll realize this in a couple minutes, I'm not the brightest guy in the world. So when I rolled out of bed this morning at 4:30 to be here, I did check my email just in case to see if it was maybe 7 p.m. But even when I saw the Good Morning Riverside, I realized that, unfortunately, it was 7 a.m. But actually, I'm delighted to be here, and I want to thank Cindy. I don't know where she's at, but Cindy and the entire membership of the Riverside Chamber for allowing me to speak for a couple minutes. Great, great opportunity. I've actually got about half a week on the young lady from United Way. I've been here about 5.5 weeks. This is my third opportunity to speak before Riverside, so I'm almost starting to feel like a regular here, and I really, really appreciate it. I want to start, and also maybe I need to do a clarifier. I'm not sure where Cindy is, but if I say Inland Empire, what I meant to say is Inland Southern California. So I just throw that out as a clarifier. I was flying with my board, actually to meet my board earlier this week, to an aviation conference in Indianapolis. And number one, it's a testament to my board because all 5 members attended. That's unprecedented. Those types of things don't happen. And it shows the commitment that they have to this region and to aviation and transportation in general. And while I was flying, I got this email, and I'd be lying if I didn't say it ticked me off a little bit. And so I want to just share a little bit of the email. It was from a lady, and it actually kind of sets the tone for what I'd like to just briefly talk about this morning. But it was addressed to, and I won't tell you all of it, but it was addressed to Kelly Fredericks and the Ontario International Airport Authority Board. And it goes on, it's complaining about landscaping and watering practices at the airport, Ontario International Airport. And I will quote part of it where it says, "The state of California is in a serious drought, and the Inland Empire," now she should have said Inland Southern California, but the Inland Empire is a desert environment. Shame on all of you for ignoring reality and setting such a poor example of leadership." She used the word egregious, and I hope I'm not going to get arrested. But I have to point out there's 2 minor details in there that aren't quite correct. Number one, I don't run the airport. And number 2, we don't own the airport yet. And so when I conveyed that back to the complainer, she appreciated it very, very much, but I contend that we will. And what I liked about it, the more after I got kind of over being a little bit ticked off, what I was excited about was, number one, the message is slowly starting to get out that something new is coming. And number 2, I was able, because of local ownership, local control, I was able to respond back to this, and that's the way it's going to be going forward. Ontario International Airport is underutilized, it's underserved, and dare I say, it's neglected. It's been neglected, it's being neglected now. And I don't say that as a criticism at all. You can only have one priority, number one. And Ontario International Airport is not and has not been that for Los Angeles World Airports. Again, I don't say that as a criticism, I get that. As the president and CEO of the Rhode Island Airport Corporation, we had 6 airports, and only one of those could be our priority number one. So I totally, totally get it. The Ontario International Airport is much more than just an airport. I was delighted to speak to Ann earlier. You know, it's a transportation hub, and it's an enormous economic engine that we're going to advance as we move forward. And when I talk about being underserved or underutilized, I don't say it as a woe is me or as a gloom and doom. It really presents, and what I get excited about is the enormous opportunities that we have going forward. And we're going to be able to, under local ownership, solely focus on those opportunities. And the one word, in addition to the partnerships that we're going to need to continue based on the support from this group and others, is transformation. That's really the message. We intend to transform Ontario International Airport. And I have to say, being from 3,000 miles away, East Coast, I'm the consummate outsider to Southern California. But I'd like to think from an aviation or transportation perspective that I'm an insider, an industry insider. And I can tell you that all eyes are on this region, this airport, and what's going to happen. And I think we have an enormous opportunity. I want to also tell you, as an outsider, but an industry insider, we have never seen, the industry has never seen such regional and community support for an aviation or a transportation issue. So I really commend everybody for everything they've done in the past and what's going to happen going forward. Now, the Ontario International Airport Authority is really, and what's so unique about this opportunity, we're a startup company. Some people would say I'm currently working out of the trunk of my car. That's not quite true, but we're just getting going. And the unusual aspect, on July 1st, when we finally get the keys to the castle and take over the facility, we'll immediately become a turnaround company. I'd like to take just a couple minutes to share with you a little bit of kind of what's been done, what we're doing now, and what you can expect going forward. December 22nd, 2015, a settlement agreement was executed between the Los Angeles World Airports and the Ontario International Airport Authority, and that really kind of set the wheels in motion as to what we've been doing for the last several months. And we're creating what's known as the transfer agreement and the transfer documents to satisfy all of the requirements of the Federal Aviation Administration. And literally, it is a document about this thick, and when we're done, it'll be about this thick. Kind of non-sexy, but it has to be done. An enormous amount of work has been done, but an enormous amount of work remains to get us to that July 1st date when we get the keys to the castle. After July 1st, and this is part of the managing expectations, now I think an enormous amount of good things are going to happen, but we're not going to hit the on-off switch on July 1st, and you're not going to have 27 new destinations, a new terminal, new concessions, those types of things. But again, I think great things are going to happen, and they're going to happen quicker than you may envision. One of the nice things, so in a 21-month period after July 21st, we have a 21-month transition period where we'll be transitioning to a new economic model and economic climate at the airport. And one of the nice things that I like, it's a people aspect that we don't normally have in this business, is that anybody, we'll be reshaping the organization as we go forward, but anybody currently working at the airport that is not part of the Ontario International Airport Authority team beyond that 21-month period is guaranteed a job either at the Los Angeles World Airports or somewhere within the city of Los Angeles civil service system. So it's a great luxury. As we transform this airport, nobody loses their job. Important date as far as I'm concerned, January 7, 2013, the Ontario International Airport Authority adopted a strategic business plan. And even though that's 3 years old, it's just as fresh today and really is the kind of the framework or the blueprint for us going forward. Well, there's 4 critical elements of that strategic business plan, and I'd like to touch on each one of those. First and foremost, we've got to reduce the airport costs. From an airport our size, we don't have that much debt, but our day-to-day costs are extremely high, and that makes us so uncompetitive, it's amazing. People don't want to do business with us. Comparatively for airports our size, comparatively in Southern California, we're not doing very, very well. We're going to change that. We're reshaping the model. We'll be right-sizing our organization. I envision some sort of a hybrid organization going forward. We're going to outsource an awful lot of the services that we provide, and we're going to be partnering. The airlines, the air carriers, the cargo carriers have a seat at the table with us as we build this new model. So very, very substantial going forward. We also are going to be adopting a number of best practices, stealing good ideas from some of those airports that are doing so well across the country. We'll also have the ability in that 21-month period, most of our contracts with all of our vendors, supplier, et cetera, go away. We have the ability to renegotiate or start new with all of those various contractors. And we're also implementing some new procurement processes that are going to dramatically reduce the time and we think dramatically reduce the cost. So a whole host of opportunities that we're already well on our way getting teed up to begin implementing after July 1st. The second component is developing our airport business. And I'll start with, we've got to generate more revenue that we reinvest back into our facility. The airport has over 1,700 acres of property, of which about 700 of those acres are developable. So we've launched two parallel efforts. We're going to be initiating an airport master plan, which is an FAA document. It's kind of a far-reaching, more longer term as to how we develop that property for the best use. But we have the luxury, a good portion of our property has already been advanced to some degree. Other various development initiatives were advanced for whatever reason over the years. They couldn't get across the finish line, but a lot of good work was done. We have the ability to take those and reignite them, so to speak, so we can expedite that type of a development. So enormous property potential going forward. We have an abysmal concession program, and that's not to be critical of anybody there. That has to change. I mean, for those that think that vending machines and payphones, and no offense to AT&T, so we're getting out of the business too. Vending machines and payphones are not our future. We really have to dramatically improve our retail, our food and beverage services, and we're going to do that. To me, that's enormous low-hanging fruit. It's customer amenities. It's what our customers want and need, candidly, to make our airport a better place. We've also got enormous exterior and interior advertising opportunities. Again, all of these things will generate more revenue that help our economic climate, help us attract more businesses, more air carriers, all the things that we provide as an airport to the region. We're also a number of technology improvements we're going to be making, whether it's related with our parking or other, that we think have a substantial impact on our airport and ability to grow. The third component is probably, they're saying, gosh, I know this guy isn't very bright, but it's so obvious, but we've got to expand air service. In 2007, we did 7.2 million passengers. Last year, we did 4.3 million passengers. A lot of that had to do with the industry and the economy, but Ontario International Airport sunk lower than others of our size, and it hasn't risen back like others of our size. We think there's enormous opportunity. We've got a strategic air service development plan. We're focused on increasing the number of destinations we have, the number of flight frequencies we have to, and larger aircraft. We need to build our critical mass. We always talk about airlines measure their success in revenues. We totally get that, but we have to talk in passenger numbers. The more people that use our facility, it builds the critical mass. That gets us the more destinations, the larger aircraft, the more flight frequency, and it also gets a lot more low cost or lower fares into our market. So an aggressive, very, very aggressive, more aggressive than I've ever seen in my career, air service development initiative moving forward. And when I talk about air service development, it's not just the people as well. It's also cargo. I was amazed when I came here, the presence of UPS. 4,500 jobs there right now. They recently just announced another expansion, going to add another 500 jobs over the next couple years. And we think, 5,000 jobs right now, and we think there's a significant growth opportunities for them. We've also got FedEx, which is continuing to grow dramatically, and DHL is also adding aircraft. So transportation and logistics, even though we've done over 500,000 tons last year, which is one of the larger in the United States, we think there's enormous growth at our facility. And I'd be remiss also if I didn't mention our international opportunities. Now we have, for those that don't know, 9 international arrival gates. If you look at it from the outside, I'll use an old Pennsylvania term, but it looks like crap. But on the inside, and pardon me, I hope I can say that in Riverside. As long as it's before 8 a.m., I told him it was okay. But from the inside, it's not that bad. So we can handle a lot of international opportunities right now, but longer term, we are going to have to modernize the facility, and we need a better partnership with Customs and Border Protection. We need more people at the airport on a more regular basis. But again, significant international opportunities. And when I say international, I'm talking Canada, I'm talking Asia, I'm talking Central America, and more opportunities in Mexico. And I have to also mention our corporate aircraft and our corporate aviation. We think there's significant opportunity to grow there. A lot of people think that, oh, that's the rich people with the really expensive planes, and sometimes that's the case, but more often than not, that is the corporate front door for our business leaders as they come to and from inland Southern California. First impression, last impression. We think there's significant opportunity there. And I will say, and I cannot make at this point in time any bold predictions on new service, but as far as near term, kind of my wish list, and again, this is my opinion and my opinion only, but I think there's enormous opportunity sooner than later with Southwest. I think the same with Alaska. And wouldn't it be nice to see JetBlue come back to the region? And we don't want to overlook United and American and Delta. So we've got some great, great opportunities and a relatively blank canvas to do it on. So an awful lot going behind the scenes, more information to come about that. The last element of the strategic business plan is providing customer-friendly facilities and services. We have to. You know, you always talk, or we used to always talk about, it's the curb-to-gate experience. It's so much more than that now. It's really any interface with the customer. The customer experience for Ontario International Airport really starts at home. We've got to have a robust and a good website and all of the other tools to help our travelers. Another thing from customer service that we're going to be looking at very, very closely, one of my pet peeves is signage and wayfinding. You know, we want to be able to get seamlessly in and out of the airport and around the airport. And candidly, from a parking perspective, you know, I want to be able to tell where there's spaces available and where they're not, which lots are full. So a lot of improvements. We're going to be launching some significant marketing and advertising campaigns going forward, but we're not going to do it in a vacuum. We're going to be partnering with the regional tourism agencies and entities going forward. So a lot more information to come about that. Why do I think there's enormous opportunity? And I'll say this, call me self-serving or greedy, but I had a great gig. I had one of the best jobs in aviation in Rhode Island. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think there was enormous opportunity. Aviation demand is coming back. It's got to go somewhere. The numbers are improving. More and more seats are being introduced to the market. And what I'm so excited about Ontario International Airport is that it is truly the only unconstrained airport in Southern California. And I don't say that to be critical of our neighbors or our partners, but John Wayne International Airport, by statute, can only handle so many passengers. Long Beach has slot issues as well as significant noise issues, which is going to limit their ability to grow. Burbank, our friends at Burbank, are in the process of planning for and then will construct a new 14-gate terminal building. That'll be completed if all goes well, that'll be completed if all goes well in 2023, but it's taking 14 gates and replacing it with 14 new gates. Now that'll give them more capacity, but not exponential growth. And then I'll let you determine on your own the convenience and accessibility of getting to and from LAX. We think that last year they did 74.9 million passengers. This year they're going to hit 80 million passengers. We believe there are partnering opportunities where we can lessen their congestion, redirect a lot of that traffic, because candidly, I think it's only going to get worse. And we can, I think there are partnering opportunities between Ontario International Airport and LAX as we go forward. Local control gives us finally an organization. We got one mission. It's to focus on Ontario International Airport and nothing else, and optimizing the economic impact of our facility. Another reason I get so excited is our location. We're right in the middle of an enormous regional transportation system. And I mean both vehicle as well as rail going forward. So enormous opportunities there as well. I talked a little bit about our availability of prime real estate. That's both on airport and off airport. And I have to say, I touched on it a minute ago, but I have never seen, and what I get so excited about is the widespread community support. And it's also closely followed by the political will of our elected officials to really make something happen and capture this enormous economic opportunity. Our success is going to rely on partnerships. And there's always an ask. Now, anybody who wants to write a big check to the Ontario International Airport Authority will certainly take it. But we need your continued guidance and support. We don't have all of the answers. We're not going to do it in a vacuum. We're going to be creating an airport advisory board. And I'm hoping we can solicit input and perhaps even participation from some of the people in the room today. We envision 3 components of that advisory board. I think there'll be something related to operations. There's going to be one that's going to be marketing and advertising. There's also going to be one that's going to be ground transportation as well as multimodal opportunities. So much, much more information forthcoming in that regards. Couple things that are going to be happening and what you can expect. If all goes well, and it continues to, we're going to get the keys to the castle on July 1st. Now, again, because we're going to manage expectations, there's not an on-off switch where we're going to be able to just say all those new flights, all those types of things on July 2nd, but we do want to celebrate this. It's a big deal. So I would envision some sort of a modest media event just to recognize that we are now the owners and operators of the facility. And what we're hoping and intending to do is have a much grander event in the October-November timeframe, kind of a grand reopening, if you will. So you can expect that coming forward. The last thing I will say is I was in two meetings over the last the last 2 weeks, two very, very important meetings with significant stakeholders at their corporate offices. And each time they referred, two different meetings, two different companies, entities, referred to Ontario International Airport as a stealth airport. Kind of amazing to me when you're doing, 500 million tons of cargo and 4.3 million passengers, but they're right. We've got to unstealth Ontario International Airport, if you will. And I've mentioned before that I come from Rhode Island Airport Corporation, TF Green, which is our medium hub, a like-sized airport to Ontario International Airport, not at all the be-all, end-all airport by any stretch of the imagination, but last year, we got all kinds of accolades, have a great team. Last year, we were voted the third best airport in the country by Condé Nast. There's absolutely no reason why Ontario International Airport Authority can't do the same things and well beyond that. So with your help, with your partnerships, together we're going to transform this facility. Much, much more information forthcoming. And again, at that October-November event is where we're really going to roll out, here's the things we're going to be doing, and here's when we're going to be doing them. So I welcome this opportunity today. Really appreciate your time. Looks like I didn't get the hook. I don't know how close I am. But I'm hoping that at some point in time you'll allow me to come back and update you on all of the exciting things we're doing together to transform Ontario International Airport. So thank you very, very much. And I am getting the hook. One final thing. I know we don't do questions and answers here, but just like I've already responded back to this lady, and I don't even work there, and we don't even own the place. I think that speaks to local control. So you'll have Cindy has my contact information. Going forward, if we can be of assistance on any matter, airport related or not, or if you want to tell us what you like or what you don't, please reach out to me, reach out to our organization, because we're partners in this. We will get back to you. So thank you very, very much.